Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today in the Workplace Minute, we talk about how the job market for tech workers, new grads and experienced workers both, keeps dropping bad news on the many recently laid off victims of right-sizing, culture fit, and even AI. Let's break it down. Learn to code. That's the advice we've been giving young people for decades. Perhaps you were given that advice yourself as an experienced worker concerned about your long-term economic viability. Perhaps you've dispensed that advice on your own kids. Now in late 2025, it increasingly feels like anyone who followed that advice is in for a rude shock. 15 years of rising computer science and coding school graduates are staring down at the worst job market in memory. A new report from the analyst firm Challenger Gray & Christmas, which tracks layoffs across various industries, found that the U.S. tech industry had the highest number of layoffs in October of any sector, with 33,281 tech workers let go from their jobs. And that's an awfully high number for 1 month, and it looks even worse in context. Just a month earlier, the number of tech industry layoffs was only about 5,600. Tech companies are planning to lay off over 141,000 workers this year so far, per the report, and that's up from about 120,000 workers over the same period in 2024. And it likely may not look much better in the near future either. It's possible with interest rate cuts and a strong showing in November, companies may make a late season push for employees, the report reads, but at this point we do not expect a strong seasonal hiring environment in 2025. And the San Francisco Gate reported that the tech company job cuts in the U.S. are at their highest levels since 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic ushered in a short recession. For the month of October, however, the report notes that total tech layoffs haven't been this high since 2003. In other words, not even the global financial crisis was this much of a bloodbath in the tech job market. While it's easy to blame AI for the tech industry layoffs, the Challenger report highlights some other factors contributing to the dismal labor news. October's pace of job cutting was much higher than average for the month, the firm wrote. Some industries are correcting after the hiring boom of the pandemic, but this comes as AI adoption, softening consumer and corporate spending, and rising costs drive belt-tightening and hiring freezes. Across all industries, those laid off now are finding it much harder to quickly secure new roles, which could further loosen the labor market, the report commentary said. This depressing economic news comes as tech companies look to be some of the first adopters of their own AI systems, a proving ground of sorts for the software they hope will bring about a new era of productivity and profitability. Recently, Amazon cut some 14,000 jobs within its corporate offices, with thousands more likely on the way. And this past summer, when Microsoft sacked 9,000 employees, its own CEO suggested newly unemployed workers could turn to AI chatbots to help reduce the emotional and cognitive load that comes with job loss. But what might be the most troubling, given the recent surge in tech worker layoffs, is that many CEOs might see announced layoffs at leading firms like Amazon and Google as cover to help them make similar decisions at their own firms. CEOs are notoriously trend watchers and followers, and ones that are not seen as being on the cutting edge of both AI adoption and ruthless cost cutting in the name of efficiency might give the impression of being out of touch with the latest corporate wave of inertia. Underinformed board members, financial analysts, even the AI technology company providers themselves are all putting pressure on CEOs to get on board with AI and begin to reap the wonderful benefits of both higher productivity and reduced headcount and costs. It sounds too good to be true. So what could go wrong? Well, the question really is how much deeper these tech layoffs are going to go, something only the most powerful corporate executives might be able to answer. We'll continue to watch and wait, both to see how the tech job market adapts to the AI wave and whether or not AI will ultimately lead to the nirvana that many CEOs are counting on. That's it for the Workplace Minute today. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about how your organization is balancing technology with people, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3HR Advisors.